welcome to the Mug Talk podcast, where we talk about reading, writing, and books, and sometimes food because food is amazing. I'm your host, J. Faith Kenny, author of The Neuron Duology, and today we are talking about me wanting to write horror. Before we jump into the topic for today, we're actually going to talk about a food-related thing, and it's about my snack that I had before recording this episode. Now, it's a snack that I shouldn't have ate, that you're not supposed to eat, I guess I should say, and that is cookie dough. I had raw cookie dough with eggs and flour in it. I had it raw, and I know you're not supposed to, but if we're all being honest, we have all eaten raw cookie dough before because it is just so good. But when I was a little tot, when I was growing up, the Toll's House prepackaged cookie doughs, you know, the cookies that you like break off, you just put on a pan and put it in the oven. Those packages and the Pillsbury's that had like the little cartoon, well, like the little snowmans on them when holiday season come around, those did not have the big warning sign saying, do not eat raw cookie dough, do not eat raw cookie dough, that's on the back of the package. It was, if you ate it, okay, you ate it. Now, I know we all have eaten raw cookie dough before, and you'd be lying if you said, I never ate raw cookie dough. That's a lie, and if it is true, that's really sad. I'm sorry. I had to say it. But we all have eaten raw cookie dough before. And we're all like, well, take our chance with salmonella, or I didn't say that right, but whatever. You know, we'll take our chance with disease because cookie dough is just so freaking good. Now, into the topic of this podcast episode. I want to write horror, and I am a believer of, just want to say first, is that I am a believer and supporter, I guess believe is not the right word, but whatever, of writing in multiple genres. I do support it, but topic for this episode, and you might be thinking, J. Faith, if you support writing in multiple genres, what is stopping you? Well, my friends, what is stopping me is my own mind. As most fiction writers, we have, I want to say, overactive imagination that come in handy, though. And so I had this idea that was inspired by the June Boys. That I don't know who the author is, and I haven't read it, but I have heard about, and I know what the story's about a little bit. And so I had this idea, an inspiration from it, about like there's this person who does every 100 days there's a new killing across America or wherever, and so I was really kind of excited about it, but it also, again, frightened me a little bit, because when I wrote this idea down in kind of the beginning scene where the killer is watching his next victim, and I'll be honest, I did not get far into writing this idea because it creeped me out so much, and it felt like someone was then watching me when I was writing it, so I had to just stop. And it was on my mind for a couple of days afterwards, like after I was kind of wrote just the beginning, not even the beginning, the little maybe 100 words, if that, beginning scene, watching through the eyes of the killer. And it just creeped me out so much that, like, at night, and I have to tell you that I live in the country where it is pitch black out most of the time, and like you can't even see your hand from your face, and I stay up pretty late, and so when I was getting ready for bed, like, you know, when you're washing your face, because I wash my face at night, when you're washing your face and you're rinsing down and your mind thinks, what if someone's behind me? That was there, and it was just like heightened to a T. And then, and the next day in the shower, When you're in the shower, you're just doing things and your mind slides to, what if there's a killer outside? That was there more. And I haven't had really, like, those, thoughts, I guess you could say. I haven't had really those thoughts in for a very long time. But I had those, and it was just like heightened, and like I was feeling the fear in my chest too. So, but what makes it so scary, and I want to talk about the Whisper Man kind of later, a little bit later, but what makes it so scary is that it could actually happen. I'm not really scared of reading or even writing, like paranormal activity and stuff like that. But what scares me, even in the movies, what scares me in writing it is that this could actually happen. Now, like I said, I want to talk about The Whisper Man. The Whisper Man by Alex North is, if you have read it, and I won't give it away, but a little short summary is that there is this killer going around that kidnaps little boys. They claim to him that they whisper that they hear whispers at their window, and then a couple days later that they get kidnapped and they follow this one, and this has been happening, and they follow this one boy and family, which is just terrifying. So, if you have kids, do not read this book. I know that might sound weird, but like if you have kids, do not read this book, because I don't even have kids. But reading this book, and I read it during October, but reading this book scared me so much. It scared me for my own safety. It scared me for my friend's safety. It just scared me so much because it could actually happen that I had to stop reading it at night, and I had to read it during the day. And sometimes I couldn't even read it during the day when I was all by myself. I had to have someone else around me, like a loved one, to know that they're safe. But anyway, I give Alex North like props because he did this book, The Whisper Man, so well that it is terrifying and bone chilling as it should be, because it's a horror thriller mystery. I don't really know what genre it's in, to be quite honest, but it's in one of those genres or multiple of those genres. And he did it so well that it was done right. But what scares me with The Whisper Man and the idea of mine of the 100 days of every 100 days of the killing is that it could actually happen. And that terrifies me to write it, even sometimes to read it. But like it terrifies me to write it. And I really, really want to write this idea. It's not like it's not one of those ideas that's like star-strucking, that like, oh, I need to write this idea to get it out. It's more like, I kind of want to write this, but then I kind of don't, because I already know when writing it, it's going to be just scary and it'll be jumpy and stuff like, so I don't really want to write it. But I really want to write this idea, and I'll be honest, this idea slash book will probably never see the light of day because I'll never be able to write it. Or if I do write it, it will take me like 10 years, because I'm like, okay, there's people around. I can write it at this time when I know everyone's safe, no one's watching me, and like stuff like that. So like I said, I do want to write a horror or a thriller or a mystery in that genre. I probably never will, and I totally give authors and other writers credit for writing this genre, because I really don't know how they do it, probably in a timely fashion, because, or without like scaring themselves, especially with the ones that like can actually happen. I'm not talking about It, no offense, Stephen King or Stephen King, whatever. I'm not talking about that, like, but the real life situations that can actually happen, those scare me. But I do want to know if you ever wanted to write in a horror or mystery or thriller like genre. And I'll be honest, those genres also intimidate to write. that's also another reason why I haven't shown the light of day in this idea. It's on the very far back burner. But I do want to know, have you ever considered writing horror, mystery, or thriller, or like a combination of them? And if so, have you ever considered writing in like something that could actually potentially happen? And then if you have, I would really like to know, just like, how did you write it without like scaring yourself, or were you just like, oh, I know this won't happen, it's only fiction? Like, did you have a clear divided line of saying this is only fiction and I know it's only fiction, or was there like some interlapse where you kind of scared yourself? So yeah, anyway, like I said, I am your host, J. Faith Kenny. This is just me talking about, I want to just write in horror, but basically it's too of a chicken to actually write it because of my imagination. And that is all for this episode of Mug Talk. I hope you enjoyed, and I almost forgot this before I like signed off, or whatever you call it. You can go to my website and join the discussion at jfaithkenny.com. There's a little tab for Mug Talk, and you can join the discussion of if you ever wanted to write horror, or if you have, and answer those questions, because I am honestly very interested in this. And then you can also follow me on the social media at jfaithkenny as well. And that is it. I hope everyone has a good day, or evening, or morning, or whatever. I hope you have a good life, or week, or, So, that's it. I am your host, J. Faith Kenny, and that is all for me, folks. Episode 3, Wanting to Write Horror. Bye!